This is part of my MA dissertation. It's called Electronic Days. Saturdays were electronic days. At the start of each shift, Reese would arrive and say hello to Rachel behind the till. She would reply with a grunt or, occasionally, a hand straight up in the air. Reese would then kick open the door to the storeroom, wade through the unopened bags and sit beside a pile of electronics in the corner. Someone on his first shift had written Reese's name on a white sticky label and attached it to the shelf over the pile. Reese would then look over each item, make sure each worked, delete any files, then place them in a new pile. The workload normally took between 2 and 3 hours, meaning he would be home again by 3. The only time this varied was in the first weeks of January, when there was a post-Christmas flux of unwanted televisions, phones and cameras. On these days, he wouldn't leave until closing time, and would return the next day to sort any leftover stock. Reese had 3 jobs, but this was his favourite. He was absorbed from the moment he arrived to the moment he left. He enjoyed the manual element of the work, fiddling with technology and helping it work again. It paid little, but it gave him something different to do. While Reese worked a number of jobs, Sophie was an artist. She had graduated from the Royal College of Art last summer and, unlike the majority of her friends, was receiving commissions. Reese wasn't that interested in art, but he saw some merit in Sophie's work. He concentrated on the human psyche. She owned as many books on psychology as she did on art. She worked mostly in monochrome, set off with splashes of colour. A number of her pieces lined the walls of their flat. When she talked about her work, she spoke quickly with lots of gestures, as if she were telling you a secret. Her passion was what made Reese fall in love with her. When he began the electronics job, she was pleased for him. On Saturday evenings, she would lie on top of him and he would tell her about the things he had found. She would listen to him intently. When he got particularly enthusiastic about a ZX Spectrum or Nokia 3310, she would wait for him to finish, then kiss him. Reese couldn't remember the last time they had done this. Reese had been at his job for 6 months when he found the camera. It was mid-April, but still too cold to leave the house without a jacket. He went through to the back room, his name sticker now peeling. The desktop he used for inventory and deleting files was now gone. The computer had been given to them the day he arrived, and he had spent his first shift fixing it and demonstrating how it could be utilised. Now it was gone. The shop floor was busy. Outside it was raining heavily, and the shop was crammed with pensioners in glossy raincoats. "Sylvia," Reese said, spotting her under a rack of hats and jackets. She hadn't noticed him. He walked past the travel guides and the toppling pile of Mills and Boon. He tapped her on the shoulder. "Sorry, Reese, didn't see you there," she said, and smiled. Her bright pink cheeks clashed with the store's red polo shirts. "God, as soon as the rain comes, everyone wants this stuff. I've restocked twice already today." "What's happened to the computer?" Reese said. A regular came up to him and asked the way to the jackets. Reese pointed straight in front of him. The man's face creased into a smile, and he grabbed Reese's hand and squeezed it. Sylvia turned to him. "What computer?" "The backroom one." He noticed her blank expression and sighed. "Max." "Oh, Max! He's broken, gone off to be fixed." "What was wrong with him? I could have looked—" "Oh, no, dear, don't worry yourself. I've brought in my own one from home today. It's on the shelves. Just use that, all right?" Reese returned to the back room and found the laptop, the login details scrawled on a post-it note. He smiled at her password. The computer was slow and sounded like a vacuum cleaner. He plugged it into the mains, hoping it would help. It only made it worse. When the laptop loaded, he looked over the day's items. There were only 3, a plug adapter, a radio, and a camera. He didn't know what to do with the plug because they had nothing to test it with, so he just left it at the side. He plugged in the radio. Loud static filled the room. Reese quickly turned down the volume and fiddled with the tuner until jazz played through the speakers. He tapped his foot to the beat and left it playing. He typed in the details of the radio and plug into the inventory spreadsheet, which thankfully Sylvia had saved, and looked at his watch. Only an hour had passed. Reese knew he would be done in record time. He thought how nice it would be to have the whole afternoon free. Sophie was home, they could watch the next series of Game of Thrones together or cook together. They hadn't done one of their complicated menus for a while. They could eat it on the table they bought last week from the car boot sale, the one with paint marks. Reese turned on the camera. It seemed to work fine. It was a good camera, decent 20x zoom, 1080 HD video. It wasn't very old at all. He tried taking a picture of the radio and, while not artistically brilliant, the picture was good. It seemed odd that someone had given away such a good camera. It was worth way more than what the shop could charge for it. He took out the memory card and looked for the slot in the laptop. There wasn't one. He checked again and again, but nothing. Reese sighed and placed the card back inside the camera before turning it on again. He never normally looked at the data on these items, but today he'd have to load up the playback menu. He found the delete button, but stopped himself, becoming distracted by the picture on screen. It was taken in a hospital, a woman in her 40s, tears in her eyes. Reese felt sick. That was the last picture taken. He scrolled forward and found the first picture. This was taken at an airport. 2 people, a couple, their arms around each other. It wasn't a very high-quality photo for what the camera was capable of. The lighting was all wrong for a start, but it was the same woman. His finger hovered over the delete button, but he couldn't do it. He ejected the memory card and placed it in his pocket. Dun dun dun!